The backup, when done correctly, will improve your horse's balance and your ability to sense your horse's weight shifts. An important skill for beginning to develop your riding where you can start to better influence the movement of the horse is starting to feel subtle weight shifts. And I find that one of the easiest exercises to start feeling this in is the backup. So as you back up and go forward, what we're going to do is kind of go back and forth between the back and the forward. What you really want to feel for is just your horse shifting weight either backwards or forwards. And you also want to feel if there are shifting weight softly, so if it feels like it's a soft shift back, or if there's tension, if they're hollowing their back through either the backwards or the forwards movement. So it's an exercise not so much on teaching the backup or getting lots of steps of backup or even getting a perfect backup whatsoever. It's more just an exercise in being aware of how the horse is moving and where the horse is moving. So what I'm going to do when I ask for backup is my first step is I'm just going to shorten my reins here a little bit so that I'm able to give signals with my hands. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to think about shifting back from my center. And as I shift back from my center, I'm going to start to feel if I feel that influencing her at all, if she's moving at all under me. And what I'm going to be careful not to do is to go so far back that I start angling my hip really far like this, where it's going to tend to almost put more weight down on her back. So I'm going to shift back through my center. Good girl. And you could feel how she started to shift, or you could see, I could feel how she started to go back and then she started taking those steps. Now Molly has a very easy backup, but again, even if your horse is not nearly as easy, the point of the exercise is just feeling if the horse is tensing, if they're softening in response to different things that you're doing, and feeling the moment where they start to shift back or later shift forward when we ask for that. So I'm going to ask for the backup again. I'm going to think about moving back from here, almost if someone was behind me, pulling my shirt like that. That's kind of the thought or the feeling of it. So I'm going to start to shift back. I'm going to take a little weight with my hands on the reins. Barely a pull, but just a little more of a contact. Good girl. Good girl. Now I also feel just a little bit of a squeeze kind of my glutes as I do this. So not a clenching. Again, we're always thinking in terms of positive tension instead of negative tension. So a little squeeze isn't a clenching where everything else tightens up. It's just a little bit of an engagement of those muscles that kind of lifts me out of the saddle and helps to shift me back. Now when I think about going forward, again, I'm just going to kind of play with how little I can do to start to send her forward. So I'm going to think forward from my center. I'm going to start to close my calves on her. And I'm going to feel for those first moments as she starts to think forward. And then of course I'm softening on that. Now I'm going to go back again. I'm going to think about shifting back. So I'm kind of pulling up and shifting back. Good girl. And now I just hold this position back as long as I want her to keep going. If she gets a little stuck, I might tap a little with a leg, take a little kind of vibration in my fingers, and send it backwards again. So again, do this exercise, kind of play with it with your horse and start to develop that feel for, as you move subtly, how do they respond? And they respond with stiffness, with softness, feel their weight shifts forward and back. And then this is going to start to come in, this is going to start to be very useful and good practice for later when we're starting to feel shifts back as we're in movement and as we start to do more and more things, influencing and hopefully improving the movement of our horses. I would love to hear from you. What is something you were doing when you asked your horse to back up that you will now do differently? If you're not watching this on horseclass.com, that's where the best conversation is, and we have hundreds more free videos like this one and premium courses to help you find the joy in your riding and connect with your horse.